I called him one day and I was like, man, I'm enjoying this and I just really want to, I like this. Let's take a little deeper. And he goes, Randall, listen, I am not your friend. We make money together. And I want you to know that. It's so weird to realize that you're making money, but you want more than money. And you've opened yourself up. And it's not the same as opening up when you're first getting in business and you're not making any money and you're asking people for help and they're saying no. It's different when you are making money and you think that the transaction makes a relationship, and it doesn't. That made me tender. That tenderized me. That was kind of it for me. That was the last blow. Everybody, welcome to The Curious Entrepreneur. I'm Randall Cottrell, and today I want to talk about being tender. I want to talk about being a tender entrepreneur. The title is Curious Entrepreneur for the show, but the last week or so, I've had a chance to think about the things that have shaped how I feel about myself, how I feel about other entrepreneurs. I want to talk to you about the journey from ultra confident and ultra ignorant to being tenderized and being humbled, and what that leads me to as a business person. I'm 40 years old. I've been in business since I was 19 years old. It leads me to this place right here. I'm tender for you. If you're an entrepreneur, I'm tender for you. There are pains that you feel, that I felt, that you can't even talk to people about because they just don't get it. They're not in the shoes. They pass by and, they see a post about, I'm a CEO, I have LLCs, and they think that's business. Well, it's not. You know it. I know it. It's not business. Business is about allowing every cell in your body to be broken, to be destroyed, and reshaped into something that's useful and functional in the business world. Business is not about your confidence level. It's not about the power you have or the influence you have. Business is about serving. And I'm sure some of y'all know this. When you serve, you get beat up. To learn how to serve effectively, it goes against the very thing that you've been taught walking into it, is that you got to be the man, you got to be the woman, you got to be it. And in reality, man, those tenderizers, meat tenderizers, the hammer, and it's just, but that process sucks, right? We all hate it, but it makes you malleable. It makes you flexible. It kind of opens your pores and ultimately makes you useful to more people. But I want to talk about being tender. So I want to tell you about experience I had. I'm going to tell you two things. Experience I had that made me tender and how I saw that tenderness come into play recently. In business, I've been here a long time, but I had a situation where I had a really large contract I was looking at. And the people who had it, I really looked up to them. I did. I looked up to them. I looked up to them. That's all I can say. I wanted them to mentor me, and I wanted the guy to lead me and show me how to do this well. And ultimately, he denied me that while also just demoralizing me. We did business. We made money together. But he took the thing that I wanted the most, which was mentorship, leadership, friendship. And the way he did it was quite simply, I called him one day and I was like, man, I'm enjoying this and I just really want to, I like this. Let's take a little deeper. And he goes, Randall, listen, I am not your friend. We make money together. I want you to know that. it's so weird to realize that you're making money, but you want more than money. And you've opened yourself up, you know. Um, and it's not the same as opening up when you're first getting in business and you're not making any money and you're asking people for help and they're saying no. It's different when you are making money and you think that the transaction makes a relationship, and it doesn't. That made me tender. That tenderized me. That was kind of it for me. That was the last blow. It did make me hard. It did make me callous. It made me aware. And what it made me aware of is that I haven't been tender to you, to people like you that are out there trying to do it, trying to start, trying to build. And you need a relationship. You need hope. You need a word here and there. You need advice. You need wisdom. You need direction. I wasn't tender, and recently the other story I want to tell you is I had a guy who went after a contract. He said he got it. He took money out against that contract. And I watched him just just kind of spin in circles. Didn't know what he was doing. And I told him, hey man, when you're like this, just stop. Don't move. Stop. You won't be able to execute if you're running in circles. If you're confused, if you're lacking information, just stop. And I realized after some time that I had become tender. I'd become tender for this guy. Like, I cared about his success. Unfortunately, this guy cared more about his success than he cared about people. And I was reminded of my situation. It's about the money. It's not about relationship. That's what the guy told me. We're not friends. And it gave me an opportunity to tell the guy, listen, man, I do care about you. But you can't do business this way. And I had to withdraw from doing business with him. It's sad, but it let me know that I had reached a new place, not of like coaching or mentoring. I was just tender. I don't want you to hurt. I don't want you to lose or miss stuff. And I don't want you to have to wonder, does somebody care about you? There are people out there that care about you. I care about you. But I'm really grateful that I went through that tenderizing process. And I'm grateful that, honestly, I think my faith had a lot to do with it, because I was able to get some direction that I normally wouldn't get, or, I'd become callous and had no way of understanding what was happening. I prayed about it. I prayed about it. Boom. That was it. Bible, what does it say about business? I literally started asking, going to the Bible, like, what does the Bible say about business? And quite honestly, this is in there. There are people that only want from you what they can get from you, and they don't care about what you need. Even though your need is your greatest thing, and it's made way bigger than money. They don't, honestly, that's normal. I want you to understand that. This is normal. But I want to tell you something that will help you going forward. Understand that you in business, you're going to be dealing with people that are hurt. The old saying, hurt people, right? You're going to be dealing with people who are not tender yet. They might have become callous. They might have all the money in the world, all the business deals, and it might look like the greatest thing, but they'll rip your heart out. Now, you gotta understand this. You do need to put your heart out there. You got to build real relationships. But you need to look at people for what they are, which is, we're hurt. We've been through stuff. You need to look at them before you start dealing with them, and ask those questions internally. Do they show signs that somebody is hurt? Are they overconfident? Do they always purport to be something that, just bigger than what they are? Do you find yourself trying to project your needs, but all you see is a transaction with them? You know, do you find yourself asking for their attention and all they want is the deal? Hey, those are all signs you're dealing with somebody who has some unresolved stuff in their life. They're not tender yet. I'd love to have I don't know if it's a conference or a network, whatever. I'd love to launch a conference where we're just tender for each other. We're just like, I hear you and I feel you. And I want you to know that I care about you. And I'd love to create a safe place for everybody that hears this message. Just to come and, come and see and be seen. And whatever that means, because that means you're vulnerable. You put yourself out there. It's hard to receive tenderness when you're a cement block. You can't tenderize a cement block. You hit it too hard, it breaks. But to make you pliable again, to help get you to where, you can be more flexible, help get you where your pores open up, you're breathing better. I believe business owners need a safe place, and tenderness is that's what's in my heart today. So those two stories, being tenderized and then being tender for this guy, it brings me to just this overall, thing for today's podcast, overall theme. Can we be tender for ourselves? Can we give ourselves grace as entrepreneurs? Society is going to say, for the most part, no. Society is also going to be highly ignorant. So when I say society, let's talk about what you see on social media. It's mostly fake. What you see around you. I don't know what you're looking at. I don't know what you're surrounded by. If you're waking up in a dilapidated area with dilapidated people, with no resources, with no hope, it's going to be harder for you to find that tenderness that you need. You're going to have to do that for yourself. You're going to have to take this message, wrap yourself up in it and say, hey, it's okay to be a little softer. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to feel this pain. It's okay to cry about this. And then you got to go out and find what you need. You got to leave your area and go to a new area. You can't stay where you are. If you're hearing this message, I'm telling you, this podcast, you can't stay where you are. You just can't do it. If you're in an area where you're surrounded by wealth, but you cannot find relationship, sure, you're going to be more motivated, in general by that wealth. You'll see it, different type of motivation than having nothing. But you won't find that tenderness either. You'll find the transactions, you're going to have to go somewhere else and find that tenderness. You got to find a community that's like, hey, business is not a priority. It's a tool. And those communities are out there. Just not as developed as they should be. I would venture to say that there's probably groups that are in churches. You're in a church and you got an idea, a dream, and you're pushing and you're driving, and you can't go ask anybody a question about what you're doing because they have no idea of where you're at. Not even a clue. Some of you might be in situations where everything is so spiritual, they can't even hear you talk about the headaches you've been having for 2 years from the stress of doing business. They can't be tender to you. All they see is like, pray about it, just, let God, you got to fast. And they just can't be tender to you. I don't know what your situation is, but I do know that tenderness is just on my heart, and if you cannot find it, you got to learn how to be tender for yourself. All right. So how do you be tender for yourself? Tenderness for entrepreneurs. All right. This is my guess, my opinion. All right. You don't, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying, cut yourself a break here for a moment. Let go of the seriousness for a second And whoever you're mad at for a second, whatever wrong has been done to you, whatever bills you owe, if you're not going to make payroll next month, if you're going to make $1 billion next month, I don't care. I'm going to tell you about this. I think you're going to love it. But let's breathe out for a second. All right. How to be tender to yourself. Number one, you can laugh at it, but giving yourself a hug and saying, hey, you've done good. That's a good feeling. Randall, you've done good. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've wanted to tell you that for a long time, but I've just been so busy. Okay, well, let's go. We did it now. We'll just do it more often. Let's go out to lunch together. All right, self, that works. It's kind of weird, but like, you know what? Have that conversation. Have that conversation. Here's another conversation to have with yourself. Hey, man, regular self, not business self. How are you doing? Well, I'm doing great. I don't see you much because you're always doing business. How's that going? Well, it sucks because I'm hurting. I've been lied to. I've been cheated. I've been neglected. I've been misused. I've been leveraged. And that sucks. I mean, how does it feel to say that out loud? That's the truth, though, right? It's the truth. Say it. This stuff has happened to me. And then I want you to tell yourself, you know what, though? I'm not going to let that happen anymore. Part of being tender is, this show is about wisdom, too. Part of being tender is understanding that sometimes you've been tenderized enough for a season. You need to step back and look at wisdom and say, you know what? I don't need to deal with people like that. I'm going to be tender to myself and know that I cannot get beat up like that right now or ever. I'm going to care about me enough. I'm going to soften my hard callousness up enough to say, I can't do that anymore. That's tenderness too. It's not just, are you vulnerable or not? No, it's just, are you treating yourself right or not? When you have people in your life, this is tenderness 101. Have people in your life that you have to be around and they cannot offer you that tenderness. They can't feel you. You can talk all day. They never feel you. They can never wrap their arms around you and say, hey, I understand. I got you. Or I don't understand, but I'm here for you. What can I do to support you? In those moments, you got to look out to that network. You got to find those people, that can love on you. But here's the catch. You got to love on them too. Remember I told you earlier that I went through this tenderizing process and then I realized that I was able to care about this guy now and what was going on with his business and many other people like him. I had to start giving that tenderness in order to receive it. They go hand in hand. I'm not saying one has to come before the other. I'm just saying that is the greatest transaction. And if I was the transaction, let me tell you what this word means. I think you'll be impressed by what it means. It has nothing to do with money. Nothing to do with money. Transaction. We're not talking about the newest version, the newest definition of that word talks about buying or selling something. But let's go with the original definition is an exchange or interaction between people. That's all it is. Now exchange, means two parties that give something to one another. Interaction, there's a shared action between two people. Between action. So between two people, there's this action. You got to be open to that action, that tenderness action. And once again, I know some of y'all aren't gonna find it. I'm giving you all these tips, and you're gonna be like, "Dang it, I got nowhere to get that." You know what, Raekwon? He's sitting behind the camera right here. If you're gonna pray for something, man, I want to do a conference where we just love on business people and dreamers, and people that want to get into business, we're just going to love on them. Just, man, create a safe place for you to be an entrepreneur and with all that comes with it. All the bad, all the good. And I just want this place to be somewhere we can close those doors. And and that room that's a safe room. You can lay it all out and be cared for and be loved on. And you can go back to your life knowing that you always have a community to go back to. Because inevitably, you're going to hear these words and you're not going to have anywhere to go. Anyhow, back to Tenderized 101. Richard Bronson has a master class out right now, and he's talking about having fun. Don't forget to have fun. And I got a lady that works for me, Monique. She keeps telling me, like, you got to enjoy, you got to celebrate, you got to have fun. And I didn't realize that mattered when it comes to tenderness, but it does. If you tenderize meat, you can over tenderize it until it just rips apart. That's not tenderizing. That's abuse. There is a healthy tenderizing where it's done the right way for the right amount of time, and it makes you a better entrepreneur, makes you a better human. Having fun is part of the health that you need to enjoy the process of being malleable, of being something more than just, I want to do this, and if I don't succeed, I'm leaving. No. That's a fallacy in business that if you don't succeed, that you're not meant for it. Part of the tenderizing for you might be that your ego needs to be tenderized a little bit. Maybe laughing a little bit will help that ego. Smile and when you have fun, let people have fun with you. That might be a tenderizing process where you learn how to share whatever you're feeling, even if it's just smiles and laughter with other people. Another part of enjoying what you've done and having fun while you're in business, as far as tenderizing, is that it causes you to pause for a second. It lets you step back from the business and go, okay, you know what? I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to examine my pain anymore. I'm just going to let go for a while. That's part of the tenderizing process that, quite honestly, my favorite part, which is, you can't see the forest for the trees. You hear that a lot. Get out of it for a while. Get out of it for a while. If you chop trees all day, you're going to develop a lot of muscles, but you won't be as useful when your tree chopping days are done. And now all you do is pet bunny rabbits. Now I use analogies that may not make a lot of sense to you, but I want you to imagine chopping trees all day for 20 years. And then you have an opportunity to do business where all you have to do is pet bunny rabbits. Petting bunny rabbits is soft work. If you use a lot of muscle to pet bunny rabbits, you're going to hurt them, right? Part of the tenderizing process. We need to pause right here.
No, battery is dying.
Okay. Well, how much time we got?
I don't know. It's blinking now. So.
Well, y'all, we're going to edit that. You know what? Leave it in. We're not going to edit it out. Tenderizing, being tender. I want you to feel what I'm saying. You've been tenderized enough. I want you to know that you can be tender. And there's a right kind of tenderizing. I want you to know that I'm here for you. I'm tender for you. I feel you. And I love to get together one day and let's love on each other. Let's be tender for each other. Y'all, don't forget to have fun.